Tonight we have three unique versions of multi-tools to talk about. These are tough, rough, they are tactical, very cool looking tools. Most of these are EOD versions as well. Ones we don't see that often, a little bit more rare, a little bit more expensive. We'll go ahead and start with the Leatherman Supertool 300, jump to the Gerber, and then jump to the Leatherman Mutt, and then a surprise one on the end. Keep tuned. So we'll start this comparison with a Leatherman Supertool 300 EOD. Very cool tool. One of the first things we notice about it is the plier head is weird. Well, it's not really weird. You'll notice this hole in the handle as well. This is where you can thread in a cleaning rod adapter. You can always use that for some other tools, I suppose, as well, as long as they're the same threads as a cleaning rod adapter. Fix-It Sticks has some pretty cool accessories you might want to check out their website. Now on this one, the wire cutters are actually labeled as fuse wire cutters. We've got the cap crimper. We've got this very cool plier head right here. This is for the EOD, the bomb disposal units and so forth in the military. We've got the crimper right here on the handle as well. So we do have ruler instruments. Then on this side, we've got very long, very sturdy implements, which is one of the things I love about the Supertool. So every time I open these up, I realize, wow, these are really tough. I really like some of these long implements. You do have a combo blade, which some people would not love. It is serrated, and the normal blade right there. We've got a couple very nice flat screwdrivers. Sometimes you need these very wide screwdrivers, so these will come in handy. There's the awl as well. And then there's a special treat. I believe this is one of the only tools in the handle of Leatherman on the Supertool that's a T-shank adapter. So how this works is you actually press this forward, then you can go ahead, the saw comes out, then you go ahead and seat it back in place. Now, I don't think this is thick enough for the file, some of the other implements from the Surge, but just for a T-shank, you can fit a normal thin saw blade into the T-shank handle. So pretty cool. One of the very cool tools on this EOD version. Now the other one is this replaceable tool right here. So this is how it works right there. Go ahead, we can screw it back into place right here. So this is the C4 punch. So that's pretty cool that you can replace that, and then you can buy replacements on Leatherman's website. We also have the wire stripper. We've got the can opener. We've got the really nice Phillips screwdriver. You can use Leatherman's adapters with this. Then another very nice screwdriver, then a very long saw as well. So all these are very nice implements, very cool. I want to go ahead and weigh this right here before we go on. Let's get this out of the light a little bit. Let's take a look at this in grams. This is 282 grams. Let's go ahead and move this over to ounces. It does come in at 10 ounces. 10 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier. It's definitely not a light tool, but for those of you who want a very tough tool, I definitely can recommend this. Very cool tool. Really like that T-shank for the saw blades as well. That is a very valuable tool right there as well, so you might want to consider this. Now on Leatherman's website, this comes in somewhere around, it's actually $109.95 at this moment, so around $110. So not the most expensive on this list, but definitely not the cheapest either. So this next tool has one very cool feature that you will not find on any of the other two tools from Leatherman. This is one-hand deployable, and that might tip the scales in the favor of some of you. So you can use this one-handed, and if there are some of you who are actually active in the military or the law enforcement and are involved with bomb disposal, I don't think that's a big segment of the population, but for those of you who might be or know someone, that feature being able to use it one-handed might turn the tables, and you might want this. So we have the crimper right here. We've got the cutters here at the bottom. We've got a nice plier head right here. We have the crimpers here at the bottom as well. We have rulers. Again, this is made in the USA. It's all locking. Then we look at the interior tools. We have a C4 punch. Now this is non-replaceable, so you can't screw that on, back on like the Leatherman Supertool. You could. Now on this one, we do have the combo blade as well. We've got another Phillips screwdriver, pretty nice. You can use this with the adapter kit from Gerber, I believe. Then you do also have the lanyard holder right there as well. So again, all these are locking. Then on the other side, we have the file. This is just a two-sided file right here. There we go. Then we do have a can opener. Always have to have a can opener. Then we do have a screwdriver as well. Then we do have a universal saw holder. This is not a T-shank, and this one right here is a little bit harder to use. So what you have is you have this spring, and it does have a little straight piece right here to hold this in place. So you have to pull this out. There we go. And it has to be that design. You can still get replaceable blades of different sizes, lengths, types on Amazon. I actually do have a whole video on this, but this is a little harder to use, and then it snaps back into place. Not extremely hard to get to, but it takes a little bit more thought than Leatherman's system, unfortunately, but it's better than nothing. So what comes with it is this rim grit, which is basically a cut-all blade that supposedly cuts everything, but might not cut anything that well. So it's supposed to be a one solution, but a lot of people don't really like it. I really don't use it that much, but I don't use saw blades on my multi-tools much anyway. So this one right here, I got on eBay for around 40 some dollars, a little bit less than 50. You can still get these at a fairly good bargain. They are discontinued, unfortunately, as far as I know. It does come in at 8.2 ounces, so definitely a lot lighter than the Supertool. When we go to grams, it comes in at 233 grams. So there we go. It is a little bit lighter, has a little less footprint. It is also one-hand accessible, which some of you might really like. So now we come to the most expensive one on the list. This is the Leatherman Mutt. There are two versions of this. Unfortunately, I do not have the EOD version, but I want to review this one because the EOD version is only different in, I believe, about 2 ways. So the plier head obviously is different, and I think it's the same one as this one on the Supertool, essentially. Just has this head on here. Then also, instead of this punch, you get a C4 punch instead. So I think those are the 2 main differences. So again, we've already looked at this plier head right here, how it has these EOD crimpers. We've got the cutters, the crimpers at the bottom. We have the space on the side to thread in cleaning rods for firearms as well. Then instead of this punch, you would have, I think it's the exact same punch actually that is on this Leatherman, I think on here instead. So that's what you would get with the EOD version. It is actually $10 more than this one. The regular mutt is $200, $199. The EOD mutt is $209. So it adds about $200 or $10 rather to the $200 price tag. So let's go ahead, close this up, look at the tool set. So we do have a saw on the outside. On the other side, we have, again, a combo blade knife. These are huge, beefy tools. So these are very heavy duty. If you think the Leatherman Supertool is heavy duty, these almost make them look a little weak. So let's go ahead, take a look at that right there. I mean, this is gigantic. So this is by far the most heavy duty tool. If you want to get the best one, I think the Leatherman Mutt has to be, because it is gigantic. It is heavy, heavy duty. We've got this pocket clip right here as well. Again, the C4 punch would go there. We've got this clip right here. Then on the outside edge right here, we've got a bunch of this is the hammer right here. We've got a bolt override tool as well. Right here as well on the end. We do have the cutter as well, the replaceable cutting hook, and this is replaceable. So all those really unique tools. Then also we do have the carbon scraper on this side. That is also a tool that you can replace. You can buy an extra carbon scraper, take this apart, put that on there as well. So something to consider. Then you do have these very long bits, a little bit hard to get out. Let's see, I think it's just going to be easier to pull that out like so, like that. So these, again, a little hard to pull out. So very, very long bits right here. Got some, the Torx bits right there. Then we have another one on this side. So this is your Phillips right here. So as the mutt is very cool, but some of these things, they stick in here. Again, a little bit hard to reach. I guess you just have to sort of shake it out right there. So you do get a pretty nice flat and a Phillips. Very long bit as well. A little bit hard to access. Again, I don't use my mutt very much because I'm not really into a whole bunch of firearms and everything. But you do have this bit driver on the end right here as well. You do have to push down on this actually to release the bit. So you have to push down right here. You can go ahead and release the bit, flatten the Phillips, and then it goes in as well. So very cool. The clip, bottle cap lifter as well. So a whole bunch of tools just jam-packed into the mutt. Again, this is more the civilian version. There is the EOD, as I've talked about as well. So this is definitely, I think, the best tool in these three. But again, the Gerber does have the advantage with the tool, the plier head sliding out, and the Supertool is a little bit cheaper than this one as well. Sort of a middle of the road option. One of the things I didn't do was to weigh the mutt. The mutt does come in at 306 grams. Go ahead, take this to ounces, so 10.8 ounces. It definitely is the biggest, the largest, the most expensive out of all three. Now, we'll go ahead and end up with something a little bit fun, maybe. So this tool right here is, by all accounts, very, very similar to this one. It was even more similar before I modified the C4 spike. I went ahead and I made it a 4mm bit driver. I have a whole video talking about that. I won't go into that a bunch here. But when you look at these two tools, they look very, very similar, and it's because this is a Chinese copy. So this will be a lot brighter, it will be a lot shinier, but there is one huge giveaway because a lot of these even say USA, Gerber on the handle. They're pretty shameless. This right here is a pocket clip I just put on there from, I think, a pocket knife or something I robbed off of it and just sort of wedged it in there. So the tool set will look fairly similar right here. But the one big difference is it will not have a universal saw. Now mine does, because I changed out my tool implements, but yours won't if you buy this from Amazon or AliExpress for about $10. So that's about how much these run, $10 to $20. You should probably never spend $20 for this tool. You can buy it a lot cheaper, but sometimes it will be that price. Now, one of the cool things about this, you may notice, is I actually put Gerber implements. You can swap these Gerber implements. You can swap these into Gerber, put Gerber into these. They're essentially the same tool. unfortunately or fortunately, it depends how you want to think about it. But just want to let you know that this tool is out there. But the big difference is it will actually just have a normal looking saw, sort of in this color right here. It will not have the universal replaceable saw, and that's how you will notice that it is a fake instead of an original Gerber DET. So let's go ahead, just weigh these actually. I've never actually done this. Let's go ahead, wait for my scale right here, maybe. There we go. So this comes in at 8.1 ounces, the fake one. Now I did add some Gerber tools, so they actually weigh about exactly the same. So after my modding on this one, they weigh about exactly the same. Again, I didn't feel like the C4 spike was very valuable to me, so I actually took a 4mm bit holder. I took a lot of metal off the C4 spike, put the bit holder over it. I made the C4 spike square. Then I went ahead and just put tape right there, tried to sort of mold these together, and now I have a long reach 4mm bit driver. So that made a little bit more sense to me. I don't really ever carry this, but it is sort of cool to have in the drawer if I ever needed it. So this is probably the order in which you should buy these tools. The Mutt, I definitely think, is one of the best ones out there. I think the Leatherman Supertool 300 EOD is a great alternative if you're more budget-minded. I think the Gerber is great if you need a one-handed tool. It's not quite as good as the other two, but it does have some pretty cool tools as well. And this one, probably never. But it's not too bad if you just want to use it around the house as a fishing tackle tool, but obviously never as a serious alternative. So I think all these are okay options. Definitely the Leathermans are probably the best. Now, SOG has an option as well. I've never really bought that version from the Power Lock, EOD Power Lock, but that is something you could always look into. Hope this has helped, and we'll see you in the next one.